So this is that new M4 Spectre that Trigger Toy is selling. So triggertoy.com has this M4 Spectre, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you about how to access the spring in order to upgrade the spring, because I'd like to get this bumped up quite a bit, and I wanted to confirm that it was a metal gearbox, which it is. So not only are there metal gears, this is actually a metal gearbox. Now, in these better blasters, accessing the gearbox is always more difficult. So there's a couple things you have to do, right? There's this pin that goes through this piece right here on this, okay? That pulls out pretty easy. That's not hard, all right? Then there's another metal pin that you're gonna have to push through. This is going through through the actual gearbox, holding that in. So you're gonna need to punch that through, with a little punch, rubber mallet to get that out. The other things you have to do are you're gonna have to unscrew your safety switch. So your safety switch just has a simple Phillips style screw in there. And you just want to make sure you don't lose these little metal pieces, okay? Because that's what helps when you select to keep it in place. So make sure you don't lose that. Your semi-automatic switch has to come out. Now that's going to use a little Allen wrench, so you're going to have to take that out too. All right, so you're going to take all of those things out, and then you're going to notice that it's still, you can't get at the gearbox yet. So you're going to unscrew the bottom of the handle here. There's one Phillips screw in there. You're going to unscrew that. And then there's two more pins. There's a pin here and a pin here. This bottom pin is what actually holds the mag release in, okay? So you're gonna have to push that pin out and then remove the mag release, okay? And then this top pin is a smaller pin right here that goes through this piece and goes through there. So you're gonna have to push that out as well. And that's a little smaller one, again, using little punches, right? Rubber mallet, maybe even something like that if you need to. Lastly, this is in here, it's just spring loaded, this back piece that goes in right through here. You can see the spots where these little buttons go. You're gonna have to push those down tight and then pop it out. And so that's gonna let you then pull the gearbox. So I'm not gonna pull it out all the way because I don't want to, because all I'm gonna do is change the spring, and I don't want to deal with doing anything else. But you can see there's a really nice cylinder. I mean, it's just a very nice gearbox overall, okay? So all I'm going to do, though, is access the spring back here. And I'm just going to go ahead, and this should just push in and turn. So let's see. There we go. Your retention spring comes out, as does your spring. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this. On this one, since we have a full metal gearbox and everything, I'm probably going to go a little bigger. I believe I have an M100 that I can go ahead and put in here. So that's what I'm going to do, put an M100 in here. Again, putting it back in is super easy. If you guys got to this point to take this one apart, I sure hope you guys can handle doing a spring, just because this is a little more complex to open up anyway. Of course, try to remember where everything is, keep everything together, and like I said, make sure you don't lose those little metal pieces because they can fall out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, the other thing I did is I modeled a piece after this. This end cap piece is actually on here too. That piece comes off easy. This is spring-loaded. You can just pull this off by hand, and then that'll leave this piece in there, like I said, that you're going to push this. It's spring-loaded. So I modeled a piece after this that's going to allow me to put a buffer tube on there. So there's going to be a buffer tube on there. And since this piece here actually, is really not, I guess it's holding the gearbox in place, right? So what I plan on doing is actually that modeled piece, I will actually end up mating to this just to give it a lot of extra strength. And because all that's going to happen to this is there'll be a very, small hole right here that the buffer tube piece can go through and screw into. So that way, that'll give it more extra strength. And if you still want to go ahead and put this piece back on, you'd be able to. You'd be none the wiser that there was a small hole there. I just think that's going to add a lot of stability for the buffer tube. So that's the plan there. So I'm going to go ahead, swap the spring, get it put back together. Printing that buffer tube piece now after I did a few test runs, got it fitting perfect. We'll get it all put back together, paint it up nice. It'll be really cool. This way it'll give you the option of adding a stock to this blaster if that's something that you want to do. All right, comments, questions, post them below. Like, subscribe, share my channel with your friends, and participate in those monthly giveaways where you can win over $200 in blasters and accessories. And check out triggertoy.com. Pretty new site, but it's run by the same cousins that run K Wolfswan, and huge variety, and they ship fast. Everything ships from China, but you should still get it in about 2 weeks or less. A lot of that too is, I think they're shipping mostly air because they ship without batteries, so then you can get away with doing that, because technically I don't think you're supposed to ship any lithium by air. All right, so again, look forward to the finished product video, and then it'll be interesting to see how much better FPS we get when we go to that bigger spring. But this is definitely a really good quality gearbox. So thanks again. Look forward to those next videos.